The next presenter is Dr. Pena Pedritis.
Hello, I'm Panagiotis Petridis. I'm a senior lecturer at Aston University. So I'm not going, and I'm part of the Civilization Research Center that we have at Aston. So I'm not going to actually give any information about the research center, and because already Andy covered that, and he used some really nice pictures that I was planning to use, but that's fine. It's not a problem. I had to adapt. So in terms of what I'm going to talk, just a few things about me. So I got I am a computer scientist. So I did my MH in Sussex University in 2001. Then I did a PhD in informatics, again from the same department at Sussex University. I was dealing with use of haptic devices for virtual reality systems and for cultural heritage systems, basically. In terms of my main research areas, I'm actually researching about serious games and gamification. So I'm going to give you some examples later on about two projects that I'm actually involved and I'm leading. Immersive learning environments, smart buildings, smart houses, and pervasive and ubiquitous computing. So this is some of the recent areas that I'm actually involved at this stage. So in terms of the first project that I'm going to talk to you about is the EPSRC gamification for civilization. So this is where actually Dan covered some of that aspects in his previous presentation. So in terms, just a few information about the particular system, project. So it started in January 2013. It's roughly €2 million project. It's actually funded by the EPSRC. And the thing we're actually trying to do is use gamification in order to increase the adoption of civilization. So the thing we're doing research in terms of gamification, how you can apply gamification in a business context, and trying to develop some frameworks that can actually use in order to do that. So in the first thing, one of the things we actually try to do on the project is we're going to actually try to test serious games and how serious games are actually effective for such a system. So we had some of my colleagues told me when we actually start developing the system that business managers, because it's what we actually focus, they don't actually like playing games. So they haven't used any games system before. So the thing I wanted to do is investigate initially if we actually adapt a game and see how feasible it is for them to use it and understand the mechanics behind the game. So the thing we did, we developed a game based on civilization. And because in England we like drinking beer, basically, so we create a beer serious game. So the thing you actually do, you are, in terms of the scenario, you're going to your local pub, and the actual quality of beer is not good enough. So you actually start investigating why that's the case. So the thing you do, you go to the manager of the pub and say, you know, your beer is really, really bad. What happened? I'm going to stop coming to your pub. And he's actually saying, you know, it's not our fault. It's the provider of the beer that the quality is bad. So you're going to the provider and try to identify why the beer is bad. And then the provider says it's not my fault. It's the manufacturer. So you go to the manufacturer and you actually start to identify what's the problem. So the thing we actually try to do in that particular case is going back to the beer manager, say, do you know about civilization? So what are the benefits of civilization? So yeah, the thing you actually care is about the quality of a beer. So you have to actually have beer at a really good quality at your pub. So we're actually proposing solutions to the manufacturer, to the pub owner. So again, at the end, you get some information about how well you perform, and the score that you get is advanced, intermediate, and basic services, basically. And you get some points. And because the serious game, feedback is quite important, so you actually get a lot of really interesting information about how you can actually improve your score and what you can actually do. So in terms of technically, what we actually use, we use the Unity game engine to develop the game. We've developed some tools that you can actually use in order to be adapted to other situations, other scenarios. So we've created an artificial intelligence module. We have the feedback system that you're actually getting the feedback in order to collect the information and present it to the user. So moving on to the second project now, this is more focusing on sustainability. So that particular project, again, is funded by EPSRC. It's 1.2 million in terms of the project. The partners for that is actually E.ON Energy, it's Edinburgh University, Birmingham University, Aston, obviously, and Coventry University as well. So the thing we're actually trying to do is, again, create a serious game that you can actually use it in order to induce attitudinal and behavioral changes to the occupant of the households. So the thing we're actually doing, we're actually providing two systems. The first one is about dashboard visualization. So the thing at this stage, if you go to any website and you look the energy, you get, for example, this is so many kilowatt per hour, so this is your water consumption, and then you have to actually try and interpret that and understand what this actually means. So we apply gamification to that particular dashboard visualization in order to help the user of the system to understand what that actually means. So the other thing that we're actually doing, we're actually developing a serious game based on that. So we have households full with sensors. So all the actually in the game, we're actually feeding back the real data from the sensors to the game. So you make decisions within the game, and this actually simulates what actually happens to the house, and then you get the feedback, so that you can actually, in theory, compare your real energy consumption with what will happen if you change your behavioral, for example, your behavior. So this is, again, one of the novel sides of the project, because we're actually developing a game actually feeding back on the real data, and actually be adaptable in different situations. So you can actually see here different versions of the game. Again, this is some sort of a dashboard visualization. Again, we're working with Orbit and E.ON in that project, and we've tried initially. We thought, like, okay, you know, maybe it's a good idea to have like a 3D dashboard visualization. So we create like something that we call the energy garden, and actually it's more like it deals with metaphors. So when you're actually using CO2 emissions, something happens to the garden, you see flowers going, they're not growing enough, or things like that. So when you use your water, you see the water actually dropping down. So we went and saw that particular project to the housing association that we're actually involved with, and they actually said this is not something that we think is going to be usable for us. So we've decided to have that version and then have a version of standard dashboard visualization for them. So this is the actual standard visualization, and then you can actually have in this you can actually see your house, and you can see the different areas that you're actually using more energy. So they could actually be flashing in red, for example, if you're using more energy in one session. You could actually click on that, and then it could take you to the particular room and give you some hidden tips about what actually happens to that particular room, how you can actually improve your behavior. So again, this is different screenshot. This is again the game. It was based on one previous project that we had, and it was actually called Customer. The previous was actually the name was Customer. Yeah. And we're actually dealing with university accommodation. So we use we implement the same system. We had like sensors within university accommodation, and we're actually trying to see, but if we actually start giving competitions or rewards and things like that, what will actually happen to the occupants, to the actual energy bills of the university. But because we have to pass through ethics in the UK universities, and it's quite important that you don't want our students to feel actually that they're actually excluded from one area. So when we actually release a competition, for example, we're actually releasing it to all the students. So it was hard for us to actually measure what is the cause of the change in the behavior of the students. So for example, we released Facebook. We have like something that we call them energy champions. So we released that, and they're actually going across the university and telling what are the benefits of energy reduction, for example. Then we released at the same time the game. But we couldn't have different cohorts and trying to see what was the effect for each of the different methodologies that we actually followed. So in order to check that, so we move like to actually housing, to proper like housing accommodation. So now you have different, we could actually test the different hypotheses, the different elements across different, so for example, one will have the energy champions, the other might have the gamification aspect, and the other is actually a serious game. So you can actually see where actually the change is actually happening, and what is the reason. So in terms of research profile, I didn't want to include any any papers. I'm just some overall statistics. I have over 60 publications in journals and conferences. I was the chair of different international sessions for different conferences. I am the chair on the first international gamification for business decision conference that actually runs. Okay, so I'll be really fast, yeah? Sorry for that, yeah? So, okay, moving on, sorry. So in terms of past projects, this is some of the past projects that actually worked. So the first one is the ARCO Manubit. I was actually involved as a research assistant on this too when I actually did my PhD. Then the other projects, I'm involved as a PI of that particular project. So this is a Simola project. We actually use serious games for education. So you can actually see different versions of the particular game. And that particular game was actually used in parallel with PG Cert. So in order to get a PG certificate, you have to actually attend, have some hours attending in classrooms. So we use the games to simulate that. So you have to simulate a teaching environment, you have to make decisions and control your classroom and apply different methodologies when you actually teaching. So again, the other is Mazeltov. Again, this is a screenshot of a particular game. Mazeltov was funded by European Union. It is an FP7, and it is actually dealing with social inclusion. So the other games I've talked about, Customer. Gala was a network of excellence in serious games. So pretty much each of these projects has a budget around 2.5 million euros, basically, an average. In terms of current projects, I'm the co-PI on the gamification for civilization project, similar with smarter households, and then we have a new project which actually is creating serious games for stations in the UK, especially children, which is a company that's actually funding the project. And it actually deals with station disruptions and how you could actually train your staff to deal with particular situations. In terms of future projects, I am focusing on Horizon 2020, so I have already one going through in the April call on STEAM education. And the others, again, it's an ITN project proposal that actually is going to go, it's about funding PhD studentships. So, yeah, okay, teaching responsibility, sorry. I'm teaching the business game, so it's a serious game that you actually, the students actually create their own company, and they have to make decisions on marketing, basically marketing, R&D, HR, things like that. They make decisions, they're creating their own mobile phone company, and they have to actually compete with other students, and the win of the game is based on cumulative shareholders' return, basically. We are working with a company called SESIM on that particular module, and they are providing simulations to us. So some previous collaborations that I had with Intel, Codemasters, some UK companies, Dayton Limited, which is actually a serious games company, Amazing Interactive. I work with robotic companies because one of my interests is in the robotics. So it's PAD Robotics, and this is InnoAir, which now it was Proforma Ferro Robotics. And thank you very much for listening. Sorry I was a bit fast at the end, but it was a bit longer than expected.